take the fight out of them.
And what's the process?
Confess.
Confess?
Yeah, confess.
Confess.
Confess to all of it.
Well, look what it did for Clinton with flowers.
Joan Allen's chance to become the vice president of the United States could be destroyed by sleazy allegations about her past in The Contender, one of 4 new movies we'll be reviewing this week, and we'll also have a special report from our internet correspondent, Michaela Pereira. I'm Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And I'm Richard Roeper, columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times. The Contender is a brave and unabashedly liberal masterpiece with noble heroes and charismatic villains squaring off in a high-stakes chess game in Washington. Joan Allen is the Democratic senator named Lainey Hanson, who has been named to succeed the recently deceased vice president. But to secure that appointment, she's going to have to win the approval of a bipartisan committee chaired by Gary Oldman's crusading Republican Congressman Shelley Runyon. Here, presidential aides Sam Elliott and Saul Rubinek call on Oldman.
I'm not confirming a woman just because she's a woman. I mean, Lane Hanson has an extra burden. She has to come on the world stage with perfect credentials.
Margaret Thatcher didn't have perfect credentials. The world respected her.
The world accepted Margaret Thatcher because they knew she had to answer to Ronald Reagan.
The moment Hanson is thrust into the spotlight, she becomes the target of a sleazy witch hunt that uses the internet to spread allegations about her supposedly rapacious sexual past.
Well, it seems to me, Mr. Chairman, that all you can claim about me, claim, is that I had sex while
Deviant sex.
Oh, who deviant? Who says it was deviant?
I do. And what I say, the American people will believe. And you know why? Because I'll have a very big microphone in front of me.
Jeff Bridges is the handsome, whip-smart baby boomer president who's nearing the end of his second term. He's kind of like Bill Clinton without the bimbo eruptions, and he wants this appointment to be his legacy. But even a rookie congressman from Delaware, played by Christian Slater, says he intends to vote against the president.
I envy you. I do. You know why? Because someday, years from now, you're going to come in here with your family, and you're going to look up at my painting, and you'll be able to say to them, your kids and your grandkids, that way back then, I defied my president. It cost me my re-election, kept me out of politics forever.
What a beautiful job by Bridges, striking just the right Kennedy-esque blend of charisma and ruthlessness. Now, Oldman's performance as a Gingrich-like congressman is equally powerful, and there are other standouts here, including William Peterson as an ambitious governor and Catherine Morris as an FBI agent who's on a covert mission. But the heart and conscience of this movie is Joan Allen, who shines in a role that makes her not just a contender, but a favorite for an Academy Award. Writer-director Rod Lurie has fashioned a modern American classic that ranks with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and The Candidate as one of the best films ever made about the American way of government.
Boy, I agree with you completely, and Gary Oldman is such a surprise in this movie because for the first half hour, I didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
I mean, he does things with his hair and with his face.
Yeah.
You don't know who he is, but it's not just some kind of an impersonation. He is so good as this congressman who is so self-righteous and so concerned with the sexual past of this person who he makes into his victim. And Joan Allen, I think, teaches a valuable lesson in civics to the people watching this movie, which is it's none of their business.
Yes.
It's none of their business because our political process has been corrupted in the last few years by this prurient interest in what people do in their private lives. And I don't think we'll get anyone to run for president or anything else if that continues.
This is a movie that's going to tell people in the future the way we lived right now at the outset of the 21st century. And you mentioned Gary Oldman. He's obsessed also with Jeff Bridges' president character. You know, he really has a thing about him because he got defeated by him at some debate they talk about. And because of that obsession, he can't see beyond what's going on there, and he's a real disgrace to the country.
The other thing I really like about this movie, you mentioned it's unabashedly liberal. Okay, well, I would also like it if it were unabashedly conservative. What I like is that it's unabashed. It's so many of our political movies have presidents who belong to no particular party that you never hear those words Republican or Democrat. It's like people don't belong to parties, they don't have positions. This movie takes political positions.
And because it's authentic, it rings even more true throughout as the circumstances occur. It's a great, great movie.
Very